Bax, get upstairs.
Come here, Max.
Alright, are we up on all platforms? Running full steam ahead. Are we going? I think we're going. Good evening, everybody. How you doing? My name's Sean. I run mailworks.com, where you can find all the chainmail themed apparel and accessories that your heart desires. Tonight I'm gonna work on this cube. We got some mail call coming in. We have some mail that came in, rather. And here, I didn't get these rings in, but this is what I'm working on. A different version of this, essentially. So, I'm chilling here working on this. I did not get a lot done today. I had a appointment and a, what else? What else did I do today? Grocery shopping, ran back and forth to get the kid from school and whatnot. I ran to Fleet Farm. I went to the farm and Fleet. Don't you know, eh? And got my kiddo some, what do you call them? Snow pants. Because he needs them for school, right? Well, about an hour ago, school calls and says, due to the snow warning, we're shutting down school tomorrow, so our whole area is shut down now. And I'm going to be stuck inside with a small child tomorrow all day. So that's going to be fun. Oh. So I don't know how much. I want to get to a point where I can work on the saddlebags. If you haven't followed along with the big motorcycle project I've got going on, I'm working on covering my motorcycle in as much chainmail as I can get on it, right? I'm making a cube. Hey Liam, how you doing? Making one of these from this band, which was around a hat, but it was too heavy, it was uncomfortable, and I used square wire rings. So I'm just tearing this apart and putting it back together, and you're doing all right? That's good to hear. I've got a bunch of stuff that, you know, needs to be reworked or redone or something. So, Julie, how you doing? Julie, thank you for the share. All right. So anyway, I am trying to figure out how to set up. Like, setting up the tripod and camera is easy, but I need a surface to work on because I'm going to be drilling through my saddlebags, the edges at least, so that I can attach the chainmail to the top of the saddlebags. And I have a table out in my shed, but now it's going to be under a foot of snow tomorrow, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it. Anyway, I will figure it out, some kind of setup that I'll get my tripod set up. We'll go live on TikTok, probably TikTok only, and come on, start the process to attach the chainmail to the lids of the saddlebags. And you're doing great. Oh, it's awesome to hear. Anyway, tomorrow's a snow day. I don't know if I'm gonna get to it. I need some clamps, but I may be able to find enough lying around the house that it's not an issue. So you're tearing up a belt to make a cube, kind of. This went around. Let me just. This was like that, and it made this hat very uncomfortable. So I ended up not wearing it, and I bought some pins for the hat, and now I am making something else out of this band because I can, and because the big project that I'm involved in right now, the saddlebags, is it's at a point where I need to move it off of my desk and work on it on a table. So there are elephants stomping around my house upstairs. So that's nice. Thank you. Lexia, thank you for the follow. So anyway, I don't want to work on any other large projects at the moment. I've got plenty to do. I have some stuff, some pins coming in for the hats. So I want to get this hat band torn down. That doesn't presuppose that I can't work on the hat and the band at the same time. I just, I've got it in my head that the next step to working on the hat is to get this band taken apart. Doesn't need to be, but I also got, I don't know if anyone was hanging out last night, I was complaining about my tumbler it was gumming up a bunch of pieces I had tumbled. So I did a bunch of water changes today and cleaned the barrel out, and it's all looking much better now. So when in doubt, clean your barrel of your tumbler out. I should put that on a shirt. Alright. I did get some rings in from the Ring Lord. We're going to see if there is if the rings match up to the size of rings I currently have. They did have that whole process where they trued up their rings to make them more accurate as far as what their advertised ring size was, so that a 1/4 inch ring had a 1/4 inch inner diameter. And that was after I ordered a bunch of rings from them. Did you finish the saddlebags? I'm sorry if you've already said it. You just hopped on. Calista, no. So the saddlebags are ready to... Blah. I know words. The saddlebags are ready to be laced onto... Sorry. The chainmail's ready to be laced onto the top of the saddlebags. But it's going to be a process because I'm going to attach one edge and then fit it as I go around. And I can't really do that right here. I should probably just do it upstairs on my kitchen table because that has enough space. So they're almost, they're entering the final steps. Like all the chainmail is pretty much done aside from fitting. And, it's going to be... I'm right pretty much where I wanted to be, starting the lacing at the beginning of this week. Not that there's a timeline on it. All it has to be is done before spring starts, but last week it was kind of taking longer than I thought it should. So I got all caught up and Now I'm just working on some smaller projects laying around because I don't want to get involved in anything too big. Well, I'm such a liar. I'm already involved in multiple large projects that I have had going on for quite some time, and I need to continue to work on them. However, it will be more efficient for me to finish a few side projects who I just got supplies for and get them packaged up and out of the way so that I can have room to work on these larger projects. But I don't actually need to clean them up. I don't need to clean up the smaller projects, but it would clear out some mental space if I had them done. Does that make sense? So I am just redoing all these rings into a jelly cube. A lot of the excess rings I had became dice bags and jelly cubes. And I'm okay with that. Not my favorite thing, but they're no longer piles of rings that I haven't done anything with. And now, you know, there's something functional, something playful. So I'm okay that, you know, not all of it turned out well. In this bag here, I don't want to flip it over because it's got my address on it. I'm going to use this off screen. We've got some. These are 18 gauge 7/32, and I bought a lot of them. These are, oh, I'm just sitting there showing the world my address. All of this is for a coif I was working on. Now those should be correct. And then these are the rings that are concerning to me. Right? These are 20 gauge 3/16. 20 gauge or 18 gauge? What did I order? 18 gauge 3/16 square wire stainless. They've kind of changed up a lot of their square wire over the years. At first it had soft edges, and then it had sharp edges, and then, or it had sharp edges and it was soft edges and back to hard edges. And I don't know how the truing up process affected these, so I didn't order too much, but I've got a sneaking suspicion that these are not going to work for what I need them to. Let's find out together, shall we? These are, maybe I ordered the wrong ring size. These are a lot bigger. Oh, I did. This is my fault. Well, darn. Okay. The rings look good. I can't complain. I know TRL gets a lot of flack lately for their quality control, but these don't look terrible. But that, okay. I am a silly person. It makes sense. You jump around with projects too and get back to it when you're ready. Yeah. You know. So I need to send these back and see if I can exchange them because I ordered the wrong size, which is 100% my fault. But they look, like in theory, right? They look quality enough to use on this necklace. Right? Oh, you know, on this over here, sorry for anyone watching over here, you can't see where my workspace or any of the stuff that I just did. Alright. That's okay. I don't need to finish this project right at the moment anyway. But yeah, want to clear some stuff up, get it out of the way, and just move on to the next, or continue on with the current big project that I'm working on. So, I can't believe I screwed that up. All right. Come on. All right. Is anybody else having a snow day tomorrow? We're supposed to get like 10 inches of snow. And they usually don't close the schools down until the next morning. But all of the schools have closed as of right now. So it's like they are. I think what's happening, when I was walking the dog earlier, usually the wind blows from west to east towards Lake Michigan, and tonight it was blowing from Lake Michigan out west. And that usually means that we're going to get some lake effect snow. And if you've never experienced lake effect snow, it'll dump 4 feet of snow in a couple of hours. It's a ridiculous amount of snow coming down. So, you live in South Minnesota, wish we got snow days? Yeah. MS is Minnesota? Yeah, we don't usually get them, right? Even when we have a lot of snow. We got Mississippi. You're under a tornado warning and you still got to go to work in the morning. Mississippi. Gotcha. Yep. That makes more sense. I was like, Minnesota, they get snow in Minnesota. But tornado watch in Mississippi. I've never, knock on wood, I've never been through a tornado. I've been through 3 hurricanes, dust storms, I think that's about it as far as natural disasters. No, we had 1 year of flash flooding in Texas. Like the year we left in 2015, there was so much rain, like houses were coming off riverbanks that had been dry for the last 15, 20 years and just floating away. It was bad. But I've never, knock on wood, never been close enough to a tornado to be concerned. I figured a hurricane is close enough. I was in a hurricane on the East Coast in DC in 2003, 2004 timeframe. And so long ago, I don't remember the name of the hurricane. And then I had just gotten back from Iraq, and Katrina and Rita hit Louisiana where I was stationed. So, go from dusty desert to swampy hurricane. Loads of fun. And I am thankful every day that I've never been under a tornado watch or close to one. Just watching the footage online of the destruction that they do in just a few minutes. It's nuts. Because the hurricane, takes 2 weeks to land, but I've never been in an earthquake that I'm aware of. My mom grew up in California, and she said she would wake up to earthquakes, like all the time. What other natural disasters are there? I've never been near a volcano. Hurricanes and lake effect snow. The watch is fine as long as it's not a warning or if one touches down. Okay. We have the big tornado siren up here. And they test it every Saturday morning or every first Saturday of the month at 11 or something. So when we first moved up here, the first couple of times it went off, we were like, you know, looking outside. It's a clear day, not a cloud in the sky, and the tornado siren's going off, and we didn't know what was going on. But it's just a test. Our neighbor had to fill us in. I was looking outside like, there's a tornado coming? It's blue sky. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard of. And then, of course, you know, it wasn't anything. All right. Yeah. There is, so here, Rita was the one that hit. Annie Banani, hi, how you doing? I was going to say, Hurricane Rita was the one that hit Fort Polk, where I was stationed, the worst. Katrina was more on the eastern side of the state by Louisiana, or by New Orleans. And Rita came through. You're good with all of it, but earthquakes are what scare you? Never been through one? Yeah. Rita was on the western portion of the state, like the Texas-Louisiana state line. And it came through and wrecked our area pretty good. I'm doing okay, Annie. We're tearing apart this strap of chainmail that was on a hat and turning it into a delightful jelly cube. Similar to this one. They're very, very fun. Joe, thank you for the share. All right, and we are, in case Annie, in case it sounds weird that you can't see comments and I'm responding to other people. We are multi-platform streaming right now, and I have people on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, and TikTok. But you're the only one that's commented on Twitch. So, all right. We're just having a chill night because I don't have room to work on my large project right now, and I need to make a space for it, which will probably be a TikTok exclusive when I do that, and I don't want to work on any of my other big projects right now, so we're cleaning stuff up. Like little projects that need to get out of the way. And of course, as you go along, you collect more and more little projects that need to be taken care of. And your big projects sit unfinished in the corner. I wouldn't know anything about that. And we were just talking about natural disasters and ones we've been through. Alright, there is not natural disasters, but natural phenomena, right? Like, what do you call it? Old Faithful and Yellowstone. All of that hot water. My dad took us out to see all of the, I swear, every rock formation west of the Mississippi. All right, we traveled around 2 weeks every summer. We'd go to a different place and just look at rocks. And of course, as a kid, I'm like, oh, this is dumb, it's boring. You know, some of it was cool. I wasn't really too interested, but now as an adult, I'm like, holy cow, I can't imagine trying to take those trips with my one kid, much less 4 kids of his own and 2 stepkids. Just traveling in a van around the country. We went to Arches. We went to Moab. Where was I working? Is this where I was working? We went all over. No, this is where I was working. The caverns, I forget what they're called. Grand Canyon. Not Machu Picchu. It's these cliffside dwellings, and I think they're in New Mexico. Mesa Verde National Park. I don't remember where that's at, but I went there as a kid. And the Petrified Forest, and just all kinds of crazy natural stuff that's out there. So I'm hoping to be able to take my kid around and see a bunch of that stuff. We drove across country a couple years ago to visit family, him and I. And he did pretty well hanging out in the truck with just me. He had some electronics to keep him calmed down, but did your dad have a job like researching rocks, or did he just really like them? My dad just really liked them. My dad worked for Texas Instruments. You know, the people that make the calculator that you need for calculus or whatever? He worked for them for a long time. And then he went on to do a bunch of odd jobs with printers and plotters, and worked for Hewlett-Packard for a while. But no, he just loved loading up his kids in the car. We'd go to a water park somewhere and stay at KOA camp and eat off a grill and whatever. Lil Hogue, thank you for the follow. I can't read that. Yeah. I think I pronounced that right. He's just like, all right, kids, let's go see the world. And so we did. It's one of those things that, at the time, you know, being stuck in a van with 5 other kids, not the greatest time. But as an adult, I'm like, holy cow, we went and did all these things, you know? So one of the people I follow on TikTok just went to Joshua Tree. I don't know what Joshua Tree is or where it is, but I've heard the name before. I've never been there. The number of people I know who have mentioned it has gone up over the years. Like it's somehow dropped into my radar, and I need to stop by there sometime. Is it in California? I don't know anything about it, but I was watching their TikToks and it looked amazing. One of the things I want to do, actually I should do that this month. We'll see what happens. There is a meteor shower, and one of the best places to view it is like out in western Wisconsin. So you drive a couple hours across the state and stay up late at night to watch a meteor shower. I know that is a thing. And so if we're out there, I should take my kid to go look at asteroids, meteor showers. And then there is the house on the hill, the house in the hill, something. Some guy just built a house and just kept adding to it more and more and more, and I guess it's really weird. So, and we went to the Dells this past summer, which was interesting. It's just a spot in Wisconsin where they got these boats you go ride on, and then you ride up the river for an hour or so, 45 minutes to an hour, and see all these historical sites where they were logging, and there's a bunch of natural rock formations up there that you can go take a look at. They take you on a little tour on a duck boat. It's fun. And we stayed at one of there's a hotel, and they've got water parks inside the hotel, like all throughout the hotel. So after we got off the boats, we went tramping around to different water parks. It was cool. Wouldn't want to do that all the time, but it was fun. I made the mistake of not having my shoes with me when I needed them, and my feet were killing me by the time I got from our room to the water park, and I couldn't even go on a slide. I had to sit down. I had a real bad problem with the arches of my feet not wanting to cooperate for a while. They've gotten better since then, but I do not walk barefoot anywhere. But yeah, I know that, like, I guess the end of January is one of the best times to view this meteor shower. And there's a good place to stay up real late and watch it in Wisconsin in January, outside, when it's, you know, -20 out. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Kids are resilient. They'll thaw. Alright. This is coming along pretty good. When I first, like, I had a small cube at first, and I've added a couple layers since then. And it wasn't really taking shape, but now that I've got more layers in there, it's really starting to look like a cube. So I'm happily surprised. No, but enough about me. What about you? I feel like I get on here and I just, you know, I talk about myself, because that's what I do, right? And, excuse me, you know, and I don't, like, I don't run a political channel, I don't run a science channel, I don't run a channel with a topic outside of chainmail, so the topic of conversation is either me or what I'm working on, I guess. But it feels very narcissistic sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. Wilbert, thank you for the follow. Yes, please like, share, follow, tap the screen, all that wonderful stuff. That pushes me out to be seen by other people and helps me spread the good word of chainmail. I am but its humble disciple. All right. Here to tell everyone about it. I got started making chainmail when I was 14. And I worked on stuff off and on. I have a really crappy shirt I made that took me way too long. And I made a few other things. Then about 15 years ago, I really started knuckling down and getting some cool finished projects out of it and really expanding my knowledge base. And that was around the same time as when I found that there were chainmail ring manufacturers out there, like the Ring Lord. And they were the only one I knew of for a while. And then now there's about 13 or 14 that I'm aware of. So it's come a long way in the last 15 years, which is nice to see. And you know, a lot of chainmail is just this. Usually before I was streaming, I would sit and watch movies and just weave rings together. You can sit and weave, and most of the time it keeps your hands busy and your mouth free to talk. And so you make chainmail jewelry also? Hey, saints and sinners. How long have you been making chainmail? What kind of stuff do you make? I love meeting new chainmail artists. And I mention this all the time. You can give to people who make chainmail the same rings from the same manufacturer and tell them to make the same thing, and they'll do it differently, and it'll look different when it's done. A little over a year, right on. What's your favorite kind of thing you've made so far? So one of the things about chainmail that I like also is that, like, the learning curve is like this at first. It's pretty steep, and then once you get the first, just a couple of techniques and a basic level of understanding, it plateaus and has a steady rise over a long period of time, right? So, and then that just rises up into, you can know an infinite number of things about chainmail. And, there are people who have forgotten more about chainmail than I'll ever know. But made a few dice bags that you like? Nice. Hey, Razmataz, how you doing tonight? I just got done making a few dice bags. They're okay. Nothing to brag about, but you're eating dinner? Right on. We had leftover pizza from one of the pizza joints here. So I had that for dinner. But it was like pan pizza, so it's just super thick crust, right? Like inch thick crust, all the way around. And the toppings were okay; they were tasty, but it was so much bread. So I was like, all right, I don't want to go out in the cold, but let me go walk the dog, and maybe I can feel a little bit better. So, and I do. I feel much better now after our walk. I need to take some pictures of our dog. Mostly because I haven't, but also because He's adorable. He's so adorable that you can't like him, which is a problem. So I don't want to like him. I did not have anything to do with him showing up here. He was just here, and now I get to take care of him, which is loads of fun. It's very fortunate that he's adorable because I have a hard time not wanting to take care of him. What have I done here? Goodness. No, that was... That goes there, this goes here, this goes there. Huh. Whatever. Alright. So... I don't know. Eyeballing this and looking at how much rings this is, how many rings are in each layer, right? I'm going to be able to finish this back into a cube and then maybe do one more layer. That's a decent sized jelly cube. That's good enough. I don't think I'll be able to do 3 more layers. We'll see what happens. But if I have, you know, I can probably, I'm trying to think, I can probably finish tearing that apart by tomorrow. Not by tomorrow, tomorrow. But I want to get started on the saddlebags, unlacing those up. So, we'll see. One more project that I didn't need to do that I picked up. And what it really is like, okay, I've known that I've needed to bring my drill down to the basement and the battery charger so that I can have everything ready to go when I need to start the process of lacing the chainmail onto the saddlebags, right? And what have I done? I've left that drill upstairs, sitting up on top of the toolbox where it's at, just hanging out there. And I know that I'm procrastinating and I'm putting it off because once I start drilling into those saddlebags, that's a very costly thing to do. And if this doesn't work out, which I can't imagine it not working out, however, stranger things have gone awry. Or lesser things have gone awry. That's a lot of money. I'm out. So, but I need to buck up, set it up, pull up my tripod, and start getting that connected. I need to set down all these small side set down all these small side projects and just get it done. Alright. Plus it'll be nice to have like the largest section of the motorcycle project is the saddlebags. It'll be nice to have that done. So even if I never add another piece of chainmail to the bike, right? Having chainmail saddlebag covers, that's awesome. Come on, there you go. I know what I'm doing. So I've got this little Hatband converted to a jelly cube. I've got the rings for a bunch of bracelets that need to be finished. I was going to say I could finish this necklace, but I ordered the wrong rings. I have more rings coming in for other projects. Ugh. Understood. You have a show in February and you need to start making more pieces? Right on. What was I saying? Oh, I was saying I have a bunch of stuff in for projects that need to be finished. A bunch of supplies coming in for projects that need to be finished. There. But, you know, I've got large projects to work on also. I don't know. So where, if I can ask, is your show? What kind of show, if I can ask? And what are you planning on making for it? I've done a few shows, and I said, that is not for me. And I applaud the people who routinely do multiple shows a year. I may do some more in the future, but that's a long way off. That's after I get all of the crap down here in my basement done. Right? It's in Fort Wayne, Indiana, at a fantasy market. Right on. When you said Fort Wayne, what was Fort Worth? I was thinking Fort Worth in Texas, because they had an explosion in a hotel there earlier today. Some kind of gas leak or something. So that's what I first thought of. Fort Wayne, Indiana. I don't know where that's at, aside from Indiana. Indiana is, to me, down the road and take a left, right? Head south and then head east. Go around Chicago and then go into Indiana. Your aunt lives near there in Fort Worth? Gas leaks are scary, man. Not gas leaks, gas explosions. Gas leaks are bad. Hope I never have to deal with one, knock on wood. I'm not superstitious at all. Because I have gas fireplaces and a gas stove and a gas dryer. Fort Wayne is northeast Indiana? Northeast. Okay, so like on the opposite side of the state of the Illinois-Indiana border? Okay. There's a beer that we were going to go to Indiana and get. It's called Yingling. I think it's from Philadelphia. And they don't sell Yingling in Illinois or Wisconsin, so we were going to drive to Indiana to get some, but our neighbors got some for us the last time they went, which was recent. I don't know which end of this I was working on. You love that beer? It's a good beer. Our neighbors picked us up some last time they went, and we just ran out of it the other day, so. maybe we will plan a trip now. I had a friend in Louisiana where I was stationed after my first deployment. Her and I were both big fans of Fat Tire, which is a beer out of Colorado. And they didn't sell it in Louisiana, but they sold it in Texas. So we headed south to I-10 from Fort Polk and then hung a right and headed to Texas and went across, hit about 3 supermarkets and bought them all out of Fat Tire, and then loaded up my car, and then we drove back to Fort Polk. You're not a fan of Fat Tire? I am not a fan of Fat Tire anymore. I'm not like anything hoppy at all. Just bleh. You know? I'm just like, why did I drink this? Because I thought it was cool, man. So I don't know. I've never turned, I've never met a beer I didn't drink, right? And I have had some strange beers. I had my friend, we'll call him a connoisseur, right? He gave me a bottle of some smoked ale out of a monastery in Europe, right? Smoked ale. And that is probably the most god-awful tasting alcoholic beverage I've ever had. It was bad. I appreciate him as a friend for the experience, but I did not want to try that again. Yeah, if anyone ever offers you smoked ale, just say no thanks, I've been warned. And I say it's the worst thing I've ever tasted, but I drank the whole bottle, and I've never tried Malort. And if you don't know what Malort is, it's a running joke in Chicago where they're like, oh yeah, it's the Chicago, the home of Malort liquor, whatever they say, right? And then they give you this god-awful tasting shot. So, and then they laugh at you at the face you make because it's so awful tasting. So I've never tried that. I was warned away from that. But I have had smoked ale. You know, like they smoke fish. OneFox90, thanks for the follow. You know what that is? Malort? Yeah. You had to drive to Ohio to buy Yingling? Annie Banani, thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate you being here. Feel free to stop by anytime. Have a wonderful evening. I hope that you enjoyed watching me make some chainmail. I am back on later, so not tonight, but like throughout the week and stuff. So feel free to pop in and say hi. The best beer you've ever had was called the Devil's Thumb. I'm not sure what the best beer I've ever had is. I've had so many bad ones. The Devil's Thumb, huh? And I stopped like doing beer tasting, experimenting with finding new beer flavors a long time ago. So like if it's not some crappy beer, you know, some crappy domestic like Miller Lite or Bud Light, I probably haven't had it in years. I probably haven't had anything other than domestic beer in years. All right, that layer's done. Where are we at here? 9:30. And I don't drink much of that anymore. It's like I used to work for, when I was younger, I worked for a distributor, a beverage distributor, and they did all the imports, all the imported beer and all the microbrews in the area. So I had a wide range of beer to choose from, and you know, it was cool for a while. And if there were any broken cases that had to be returned to the warehouse, they went back. Excuse me. You know, they went back into a back room, and then, you know, they all got written off, and you could take your 24 case of bottles and put a bunch of bottles on top, put the cover on, and pay for a 24, pay for 50% off a 24 pack because it was broken. So there was a lot of, I don't know if I'd call it good beer. I don't know if good beer is the right term. There was a lot of imports and microbrews that we got for cheap. So that was a nice perk of that job. That job started at 4 a.m. 4 or 5? I had to be up at 4 to get there by 5, to be at the stores by 6. And they wanted all the stores organized and stocked by noon. So, early bedtimes. Or just, you know, be sleep deprived for a few hours. That was my friend's dad got me the job. I was hanging out with his son, and I wasn't really doing anything with my life, and he said, well, I don't want degenerates around my kid, so here's a job. Go to work. I need your help, and you're going to help me. Okay. And that's how I got the job, was I was told to go to work. Do you have a license? Yeah. Do you have insurance? Yeah, perfect. So. Oh. All right. Good job. You know, didn't pay much, but better than many of the other jobs that I had worked, like waiting tables or working fast food or anything. That's actually pretty awesome that he helped you out. Yeah, he's a big influence on my life, actually, in a lot of ways. So, not all of them were good influences, but for the most part, very beneficial. He's very no bullshit. And they are actually, here's the weird thing. So, I was born and raised in Idaho. They were all from Wisconsin. And they moved out to Idaho. And they're still out there. And now I live here in Wisconsin. So, I think I got the raw end of the stick on that deal. I'm not going to lie. But it's like Freaky Friday where we changed states. And it was weird. They were football fans, the whole family. Green Bay Packer fans, of course, right? And we don't have sports teams out in Idaho. We had a low-level baseball team, the Boise Hawks. Yeah! And then we have the mid-level hockey team. I forget what it's called. It might be called the Snake River Stampede, but that's the rodeo. So what's the hockey team called? I don't remember. Anyway, there is a hockey team there. I've never once watched them play. Yeah, it is weird that I met them and then ended up here. Like, the house that they grew up in is an hour away. My friend's parents. They didn't grow up together, right? But, like, where the house that his mom and his aunt grew up in is, like, an hour away. I don't know where his dad grew up, but it was somewhere here in Wisconsin. So, and like, the thing of it is, right, out of all the adults in my life, he was the only one who was ever like, you have to do something with yourself. You're not figuring that out. So here's a push in a direction. You don't have to like it. Just shut up and suck it up. And, you know, there's not a career, there's not longevity in this, you're surviving, right? And no other adult in my life was as beneficial in that manner. No other adult in my life did very well either, so my stepdad. Yeah, he turned on the light and kicked me in the ass, and it was good for me. I might not have enjoyed it at the time, but a couple years after high school, his son went off to college in a different city. I didn't have any reason really to stick around Boise, and I left. Joined the Army. Joined the Army to see the world, no less. And I got Fort Polk, Louisiana, and Iraq. Right? Good times in those god-awful places. It's like two of the worst places in the world. To contrast this, my brother also joined the military to see the world, except he joined the Navy. And his first duty station was Sicily, Italy. And he spent his time there going all over Europe, you know, with the Euro pass and riding the train for $10 or whatever it is. And then his next duty station, Japan. His third duty station, also Japan. You know where he still is today? Because he loves it so much? Japan. That's another bad deal. I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous at all. Could have seen all of Europe. That was, oh God. I remember you spent most of your 20s jobless playing guitar in a band. Right on. I mean, like, were you just jobless and not homeless, living on a street playing guitar in a band? Because that's bad. But if you're jobless and you're buskering or trying to make something of yourself, you know, it's not the worst way to spend your 20s. I know people that go their whole lives without ever trying to make something of themselves, and they're not the most pleasant people. Like, you'll never know if you can make it if you don't try. And even if you don't make it, right, you still have this experience where you did something, you know, that most people will never attempt to do. See, I play guitar. I know a couple of songs, but it's one of those things that, like, I started learning guitar around the same time I started learning chainmail, right? And I I know some songs. I can play them well. But I devoted the bulk of my time to chainmail, so... You just didn't want a real job? You just want to play music and enjoy life? Well, yeah. I don't blame you for that one bit. I'm not the type of person, like, I think you're younger than me. So, the way jobs work right now, with no pension, no longevity, no loyalty from the companies, right? What is this notification? Oh, it's nothing. Okay. You're 42? All right, you're right around my age, right? So I understand, like, people who don't want full-time jobs or to start careers. They want to be a YouTuber. They want to be a artist of some kind, you know. It's like, that's never been more apparent as to why people go that route these days. I will be 42 this year. I think, right? Yeah. Had to do some simple math there. It's like, I have had a career. I was in a career field for 18 years. And that ended. Yeah. And now I do this. That ended badly. Okay, so you're just a few months older than me. No. A year and a few months. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to figure that out. All right. Oh, you said you were going to a fantasy event next month. That reminded me. The other day I was talking about how there were a bunch of people that started showing up in my notifications who I've known for a while, but now they all live near me, right? There's like a dozen of them, all within a couple hours of each other. And, like, that was freaky. But there's the museum out in Lake Geneva that has a Dungeons and Dragons Gary Gygax display. And then there is a fantasy-themed restaurant that is supposed to be opening up in 2024. I haven't checked on them to see if that project is still ongoing. But that'd be cool if it got done, or if it's still going on and they're going to finish it and start it up. Because I need to see if I can get on a waiting list to get out there. What's a year and a few months? What's up, babe? How you doing? And I want to go out there and see what fantasy themed means. The whole concept art looked amazing. So if they, pulled that off at all, then, I don't, like, are they going to have turkey legs year round? Do they have Is it like the Renaissance Festival where you have, you know, different food booths? You get your gyros over here and your turkey legs over here and your... What else they serve at Renaissance Festivals besides gyros and turkey legs? It's been a minute since I've been to one. But you get what I'm saying? Like, are they going to have different nights? Is it like... Is it fantasy or Renaissance Festival? How's that all going to work out? What's the menu going to look like? You know? I want to go check that out. I'll put on my chainmail biker vest. And scratch their seats with it. That's what it's good for. It does sound cool. And I gotta go back out there to see the Gygax Dungeons and Dragons section of the museum, because when I was out there the last time, it wasn't finished. They had some legal issues they were working out with his ex-wife or the family or something. But I did get to see there's a little stone plaque next to a fountain that's got a D20 on it and his name and birth year, death year, right? So we saw that. We checked out the museum, which was cool, but that display wasn't, that was delayed, right? So I have to go back out there again. And these people that started showing up who all of a sudden live near me, one of them lives out there. So I'll be like, yo, let's go to lunch at this fantasy-themed restaurant. Take the drag the family out there so that they can suffer more from me entertaining myself with this stuff. Black Swamp Fantasy Market. They're working up having a full Ren Fair in Fort Wayne. Nice. Very cool. Yeah, if you can, man, if you can secure a spot like on the booth list and just walk your way from going to their market and supporting them there into a established booth, that'd be dope. I know a few of the people who run one of the booths at I'm right by Bristol Renaissance Fair. I know a few of the people who do the chainmail booth out here. Nice people. Work with them a lot. Every time I go there, I go over and say hello. Yeah, I don't know if it can replace the medical supply job, but if you can make and sell your craft, that's always a good feeling. Alright, where are we at here? So I've known a few chainmail artists with booths at Renaissance festivals, and it was never they had it was never that they had their own booth. They were always renting it from someone else. Have a good night, man. Thanks for stopping by. Goblin Treasury Chainmail. Hang on. Is that what it was? There you are. Alright, I just followed you. I am Sean, and my username is Mailworks, which is my username on all platforms. And everyone should follow along on all my channels. Some I don't actually ask a lot. I remember to ask people to do the whole like, follow, share thing. But I need more subscribers to things like my YouTube channel, basically. And then I need to work on my YouTube channel. Have a good one. All right, come on. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was checking where I was at. I got confused as I was working on it. Happens a lot. So I don't want to do this tomorrow night. Normally, I have practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yeah, check out the YouTube, check out website, the channel, the other socials, all that fun stuff, please. What was I going to say? I was going to say, normally I would not be able to stream tomorrow night because we have practice. But since school's closed, I'm assuming practice isn't going to happen. So that means that I will probably be able to stream tomorrow, but I don't want to be doing this, right? So we'll do something else. Like, I've got all kinds of projects laying here. I've got some sterling silver to work with, right? I can add length to this 9 feet of full Persian. I've got this Finnegan's Wake flag I can work on. I'll find something. It's like taking apart stuff and putting it back together is very slow. Chainmail's already time consuming. Like, do I need to add? I don't know. Like, I appreciate everyone hanging out and stopping to chat and whatnot, but also I want to be entertaining and be working on stuff that you guys also find interesting. So, alright. But then I'm also limited to what I have on hand down here, which is, you know, a lot of stuff, but Artemis, thank you for the roses. And I made a bunch of jelly cubes lately. Not gonna lie. The titanium jelly cube, that still needs to be etched and anodized. The brass and bronze jelly cubes that are integrated, those are cool. I've expanded this one. I'm gonna expand it some more. And I'm just talking about stuff I've worked on since I started streaming multiple times a week. I think October. The beginning of October, I started streaming multiple times a week to get all this stuff done. And I've gotten a bunch of stuff wrapped up. My ring pile is definitely gone down significantly. So that's nice. But hopefully, like I said, hopefully I'll be able to find a space, get my tripod set up, and start lacing the chainmail to the top of the saddlebags. And I'll just do that during the day tomorrow. I think that that's probably the best option. So tomorrow or Wednesday. I'd rather get started tomorrow since it's a snow day and I'm stuck in the house. That'll force me to get it done, right? That way I can stop procrastinating. We'll see how it goes. Oh, I was going to talk about something. What was it? It was chainmail as an art versus chainmail as a business. But I talked about that the other night, and something happened today that made me think of something else, and now it's a different aspect to that, and now I can't think of it. I'll think of it in a minute. Right? Like I'll make and sell pieces for sure. But I'm not willing to be stuck married to going to events every weekend. Like Saint Center said he's doing an event singular next month. I could do that, I wouldn't have a problem doing that. But I wouldn't. It would be, if he wanted to, and that was his goal, it would be good for him to like walk into a booth at a new Renaissance festival, right? That'd be great. I do not want to be married to a Renaissance festival or stuck doing specific events where I have to make stuff for that event. I am very much going to stick with chainmail as a hobby, as an art form. But there was, like I mentioned all of that the other night, there was something else. It's like I know a few people who were walking away or taking a step back from their chainmail business or their hobby that became a business, and they're like, okay, I just want to do this, I want to make what I want to make now, and please, just because you have a hobby where you produce stuff does not mean that you have to turn it into a business, right? You can say no to people who want to buy stuff from you or people who ask you to make stuff. I do it all the time, right? Like, I'm not going to add that stress to my life. I limit what I'm willing to make and sell pretty well to where it's not really Like, oh, you want to buy that thing? Cool, I was going to make it anyway. I have some items on hand, but it's not a significant amount. And it's it never would, hopefully never will be. Wes, thank you for the follow. But yeah, just because you can make something, realize that you can totally just make stuff. You don't have to attend an event, set up a booth, get a sole proprietorship, or do, any of the business aspect of it. You can do it all word of mouth and just whatever you have on hand, sell that. You can do commission work if you want to, right? Because one of the things that I see is, people start making chainmail, and in 2 weeks they're like, okay, what would you price this at? And it's like, you've been doing this for 2 weeks, okay? Like, slow down. Not that they shouldn't sell it, but it's like they get confused and think that they're going to be able to charge. They think that they're going to have the same audience that other more experienced chainmail artists have, and that they're going to be able to charge a lot for an item. Does that make sense? Like, I've been doing this for 27 years. My audience is very different from someone who just started this last week, right? And so, like, I could probably charge a decent amount for something. I could probably sell a $10,000 chainmail piece, right? An art piece, because I have that audience. And I think that people that are new to any hobby go through this. I don't know. I could make a $10,000 art piece. I know I have in mind something for that. We'll see how it goes. There's another thing too. John, are you watching? Because if you are, I'm going to talk about you. I was talking to my buddy John. Hey, it's your buddy John. And we were talking about something that horrified me, and that was signing up for like an art exhibit and then selling a whole lot. Right? And I'm like, no, I want to keep all the art pieces for my basement. Where no one can ever see it. Right? You can set up an exhibit where people are just there to view it, right? But the whole concept of setting up an art exhibit for purchase, right? I was like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if I could do that. That's anxiety inducing. Not only because I have no idea how to do it, right? But a lot. I don't know how many people would be included in one lot. How many pieces would be included in one lot? That, like, if I made a lot of 15 pieces of chainmail, right? Art. Okay, not jewelry, not earrings, not bracelets or necklaces, not fidget toys like jelly cubes, and at a certain size, this becomes artwork in its monstrosity. And Mike, the individual who began and admins the largest chainmail group on Facebook, is working on a 750,000 ring jelly cube. That will be a piece of art, right? Hands down, no question. Okay? And not to say that this isn't art, but I wouldn't put a small cube like this in a lot of an art exhibit, right? Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. So, anyway. Chainmail art pieces. 15 chainmail art pieces that I made, say, right? That someone could purchase. I don't know. I don't know if I could separate with that many pieces that I've made. It's okay. I'll get there. That's kind of the route I want to take, but we'll see. We'll see. We will see. If I'm going to sell chainmail, right? Because don't get me wrong, I like making bracelets and necklaces and stuff. It's fun, and doing different things with them. And I've got some different stuff than what most people who make chainmail make. Excuse me. Oh, that pizza is haunting me. Break out the Prilosec. Somebody grab me some Tums. Alright. Yeah, so spending a lot of time and effort into making 15 pieces of art for an art exhibit to go up for sale. Right? I don't know if I could do it just because I don't know if I could separate myself from that much stuff that I've made, but it's probably the route I should take for myself. Yeah, come here. So we'll see. There we go. All right. Cool. Is that... No, that's not... What side was I just working on? Crap. Hang on. What in the world? Okay. I need to do... Oh, I need to do one more row. Okay. So I'll mark that. I think that's correct. I won't worry about it right now. Alright, so it's... I don't know. Takes a long time just to get a little bit done when you're tearing this crap apart and putting it back together, right? But it's coming along, one ring at a time. You know, we'll get through all of it together eventually, right? As I said at the beginning of the stream, my name's Sean. I run mailworks.com, where you can find all your chainmail themed apparel and accessories that your heart desires. The big item that's going right now is a big chainmail themed snug hoodie. It's super warm and the print came out super awesome, so go check that out if you want to support me and the work that I do and want to watch more of me do this, other cool things. If you are interested in learning about chainmail, go to my link tree in my bio and you can download the Mailworks app, which has all the resources I would have wanted when I first got started making chainmail, where to find tutorials, what ring manufacturers are out there, where to find other people who make chainmail, and a whole bunch of other stuff in there. So if you want to learn more, go download the MailerWorks app. It's a great place to get started. It's free. There's a plug for my store in there at the top, of course, but it's not even at the top. It's like the second row. So please, help yourself to all those resources. It's not exhaustive by any stretch of the imagination, but it's pretty thorough for now. I did just add 2 more ring manufacturers on there. Chainmail Joe and Tom's Ring Shop. And we are always looking for, and I should have asked Satan Sinners this, but I'll send him a message later. We're always looking for people who have their own websites that sell chainmail to add to the list of chainmail artists on the MailerWorks app. We've got several people on there now, and I'd love to add a bunch more. One for the artists themselves, but also a lot of people ask me, hey, can you do X, Y, or Z? And most of the time I can't. So I've got, a list of people to send them to. That, can you make me a dragon? No, you need to go see Wayward and Whimsical, Mother of Dragons, the Dragon Lady, right? So if you know someone who has their own website, not an Etsy site, not an Amazon site or eBay, right? A standalone website that's where they sell chainmail. Let them know that we're building a marketplace on this app. We're building a list of people's websites on this app. I won't call it a marketplace. So, thank you for hanging out. I do appreciate you being here. I'm going to call it a night. And I've got a few things. Well, I don't have much to do before tomorrow because now it's a snow day. But I do have a few other things I got to do before I head to bed. You all have a wonderful evening. And I will talk to all of you probably tomorrow. Tomorrow, here's my goal. Go live, TikTok exclusive. Just because I'll need my tripod and I'll have that set up and I'll only have my phone. I won't have my computer down here. And we'll start working on the saddlebags. I don't think I'll have anything else that I'll have to shovel snow. So that might ruin my whole day, but we'll see what happens. All right? That's my goal for right now. If we don't start the saddlebags tomorrow, then for sure Wednesday, it'll just be me. My kid will be at school, and I can focus on it. So, excuse me. All right. You all have a wonderful evening. You're beautiful people. I appreciate you hanging out with me, and I will talk to all of you later. All right? You all have